Hi, Vincent. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Travis?
I'm just fine. So glad to see you. Glad to meet you today. I understand you came here today because you were referred to me by a family member who is concerned about your health. Is that right?
That's right.
And so, can you tell me a little bit about what the concern is of your family member?
Yeah, I think last year in the pandemic, I put on some weight, and then when I went to the annual physical at the doctor's office, my resting glucose is a little high. Like I think he said something like borderline high.
Okay. Your fasting glucose?
Yeah, like first thing in the morning.
Okay. Okay. So you recently had a physical done, is that right?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So what prompted you to have the physical done?
It was just an annual physical. I do it every year, so
Okay,
the right.
that's great. That's very proactive of you. You seem to be concerned about your health enough to get a physical every year. That's great. Okay, so as far as the fasting glucose being a little bit high, have you noticed any symptoms of anything strange, like when you wake up, or any energy fluctuations throughout the day that are odd, or anything else?
Nothing that I can notice. Just like now that we've been working at home last year, so I kind of started taking naps in the afternoon a little bit.
Taking naps in the afternoon. So is that different from what you would normally do?
Yeah, maybe when I go to the office, there's no nap time.
Oh, okay. And do you feel that you take naps just because you can, or because you actually seem more tired during the day than usual?
A little bit of both, I think. It's
Okay.
probably just tired, and then well, no, I can't take a nap, so let me take advantage of that.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, thank you. Can you tell me a little bit about your diet? Like what's a typical day like for you?
Well, not I eat a little irregularly. A lot of times skipping breakfast, just because when I first wake up in the morning, I'm just not hungry. So and I usually just tend to eat when I'm hungry. I have to say I probably eat more fast food in the last year than I have ever done before.
Okay.
Just because it's there, is easy, and you don't have to think about it.
All right. And then so you say so sometimes you skip breakfast. Do you usually skip breakfast or just once a
Usually,
month?
yeah. So
Okay.
usually go right to lunch about 11. I mean, 12 or 1.
Okay, but you say you skip breakfast because you just aren't hungry. Is that right?
Usually, yeah.
Okay, and then you tend toward fast food more than you have in the past,
Yep.
right? Okay, and that's just because it's convenient. So, what about dinner?
Um, I mean, sometimes I just don't eat it if I'm not really hungry, and then sometimes I just like pass the night snacking.
Oh, okay. So sometimes you just skip dinner, and you eat like snack foods.
Right.
Okay, all right. Good to know that. Um, so, can you tell me what you think is working about your diet, and maybe also what you think
What do
isn't
you think
working?
is working? Working.
Like, I mean, what do you think about your diet is going well for your health? You think that you should continue on, you feel good about it. And then maybe some parts of your diet that you think, well, maybe I could
I mean,
change.
I should probably cook a lot more. Like cut fast food out altogether. It's just laziness. It's there. It's 5 minutes, and then you don't have to think about food anymore.
Okay, so you're saying so you think you should cook more.
Right.
You say maybe it's a bit of laziness. Okay. But is there anything else that you would change about your diet besides the cooking more?
Probably more regular dinner and healthier dinner instead of like just snack on sugar coated rice puffs like I've been doing recently.
Okay.
I'm noticing also eating more candy. I don't usually like sweets, but I've been eating chocolate lately.
Okay. So this is a change for you.
Hmm.
And how long has that been going on?
2, 3 weeks.
Okay. And what about, we didn't get to what's working well with your diet. Are there any aspects of your diet that you think are acceptable for good health?
I don't know. I heard skipping breakfast is actually not a bad idea. Like intermittent fasting is like to skip breakfast and go right to lunch. I heard people are doing it on purpose. I'm just kind of like let it happen.
Oh, okay. And so, um, as far as the skipping breakfast, intermittent fasting, what did you hear were some of the benefits of that?
like people were losing weight,
Okay.
they get more energy, etc. Like those, just those along those dimensions.
And you like the skipping breakfast? This is not a problem for you?
Um, I mean, it's not a like, not like issue. It just happens. Like I'm not hungry in the morning, right? So then I don't have to force myself to eat.
Okay.
So usually, like I go through the day and I eat when I'm hungry, not like when it's certain time.
All right. Um, so what I understand then is if I asked you a question like, what would you most like to change about your diet and your health? What I'm getting so far is you'd like to cook more and you'd like a more regular schedule, perhaps for dinner, and eliminate.
Right, but I actually don't know if there's a benefit to regularly eating meal or like I mean, because if that's not a bad habit, I don't feel like I have to force a change on it, which means like just go until you're hungry and then
Okay, well, I have a different kind of question for you. So if you imagine in your, just imagine a person that you think would embody extraordinary health. Can you tell me what you imagine that person would do to be healthy? What,
probably a lot of exercise,
Okay.
like eating some very good, not fast food diet, I imagine.
Okay, avoiding fast food. Okay, what else would they do? What kind of other foods would they eat in your mind? You don't have to be
Probably a lot of
correct.
kale.
What's that?
Probably a lot of kale,
Oh, okay.
lots of beans, chicken, I guess, eggs, milk.
And what would you imagine their sleep schedule is like?
Oh, like because we just had the Olympics, right? So I was immediately thinking of the Olympic athletes. Like, I'm sure they're all in bed by 11 and like up by 5, exercising or something.
Yeah, they do seem to embody health, I would say. Yeah, okay. So you imagine that a healthy person would have a pretty regular sleep schedule, right?
Right.
And what do you think about the kind of exercise a really healthy person would do? They have to exercise like every single day, or like what kind of exercise?
Probably exercise every single day. I imagine it's probably a mixture. I mean, I'm not even envisioning they all go to the gym every day, but probably like, hiking, outdoor stuff, etc. But I'm sure there's also like going to the gym, lift weights, etc. too.
Okay, so you see it as getting out and moving a little bit, maybe
Yeah.
in nature, doing some weightlifting, resistance training in the gym. Generally, when I hear you saying they eat, kale and greens and beans, they're eating a healthy diet of whole foods, basically lean protein, and they're getting regular sleep. So,
Yeah.
do you think that these behaviors are achievable by you? All of them? Some of them? None of them?
I think it is. I just need to be really disciplined because I'm just very lazy by nature. So it's kind of like I want to put in a minimum effort to get through things.
Okay.
So I have to like kick myself to regularly exercise and cook and eat that and all that good stuff.
So all right. So you might need some more motivation. Is that right?
Yeah, probably a lot more motivation.
And what do you think would motivate you to change?
I don't.
Is there anything that might happen? Like it could be a health issue that gets worse, or
Yeah, I mean, certainly the blood sugar is a large bill, right? Like I guess, I'm, person of a certain age really should be start thinking about these things.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Is there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
there's all that good stuff.
And then just as far as any past behaviors that you've changed, is there anything in the past that you knew you needed to improve upon in your behavior for your health that you actually did make a change?
What do you mean by behavior?
Well, health behavior, like maybe you were not sleeping enough, and so you made a choice to get more sleep, and you made that change successfully, or you started exercising more. It could be anything related to your health. Is there anything in the past that you have made successful change on?
I used to exercise a lot more regularly before the work at home thing.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
so, And you felt better when you did that?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that something you'd be interested in doing again?
Uh, yeah.
Okay. If you were to enter into consultation with me, if we were to meet again, what would your expectations of my services be to you?
I don't know, providing nutrition advice on what I should be eating and when and what to avoid. Um, I don't know, behavioral change, probably exercise more, get out of the house more.
Okay. So you want me to give you information,
Yeah.
encourage you? Okay. Well, the way that I see it here is that, if we enter into more consultations, that this is a car that you are driving. I'm in the passenger seat and I am here to offer guidance if you want it. By no means am I going to demand anything of you, but I'm here to offer a listening ear and to offer advice if you'd like it. But ultimately, you are controlling that car. Okay, so I just have a few more questions before we wrap up. On a scale of 1 to 10, at this moment, 1 being not at all, 10 being very much, how interested are you in making behavior changes to improve your health and diet?
Like 7, 8.
So you're about 7, 8 motivated.
Yeah.
Okay, and then on another question, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 not at all and 10 a lot, how confident are you that you can make the changes that you want?
4 or 5.
Okay, so a little bit under. So you say 4 or 5. Why didn't you choose a lower number like 0 or 1?
Because I think I'm at a point I need to push myself more.
Okay, and it seems to me that you believe that you do have some ability to make some change.
I think so. I just need to be like not so lazy.
What would it take to get you to a 5, 6 in your belief that you could make these changes as opposed to a 4? Any idea?
No.
No? Okay. Well, that's okay. It's something to think about because maybe there are things that could happen where, you go, well, I think maybe I will have a little bit more confidence that I can make a change and that I need to. There may be things you can think about. Let's say if we meet again over the next week, what would it take to get you to a 5 or a 6 or even a 7 to commit to that change?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just before we leave, I just want to say that since we have a short time today, is the element of tiny habits. There are small things we can do just to make big changes, in time as we go over the long term. So I wonder, it sounds to me like you're ready for some degree of change, but that you're not extremely confident you can do it. So do you think something we could do from here is to establish one healthy behavior for the next week before we meet again?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good start.
Okay. Is there something you think you can commit to over the next 7 days? Just one thing that would be healthier in your mind?
Yeah, I think so. Like, what would that be?
Well, it's up to you. Like you could say something like, I'm going to stop eating, after 7 p.m. or I'm going to eat more fruits, or I'm going to only go to McDonald's, 3 times instead of 5. It could be any little thing that you think is helpful.
McDonald's once a week, no more.
Okay, so then that's your goal. So for the next 7 days, you get one time.
Mm-hmm.
You can just enjoy it, but we'll try to keep it to that one. That's your goal. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll meet next week. If it's okay, I'll send you an email, and then we'll have a longer appointment and maybe see how you do over the next 7 days. Is that okay?
Okay, great.
All right. Well, it's great talking with you, Vincent, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.